What's up, warrior? James Zheng here. Welcome back to Daily Wisdom. We are concluding a portion of how to unlock your inner warrior so that you can crush it in your business and be an impact in your communities. I believe the secret to success is becoming the next best version of you. In the previous conversations, we've talked about good morning. We've talked about building your body. We've talked about your mindset and why that's important. Today, we're going to talk about the third aspect, which I believe is your X factor of your success, which is why your spirit matters more than you think. Now, I know that when we talk about spiritual things, I want to be respectful because everybody might have a different spiritual belief. I'm Christian myself, and I'd love to know what your spiritual belief is too. In fact, comment below. And I respect all faiths, I respect all spiritual sides of things, but I'd love to know what's your spiritual belief, right? Some of us believe in chakras and energy. Some of us believe in Muhammad. Some of us believe in Mormonism. Like, there's so many different beliefs out there. I have absolute respect, but it's so important to understand that spirit, apart from that, is so important. Spirit is like being plugged in to a wall for an electrical outlet, right? Spirit is important to have. In fact, I'll tell you a quick story of when I experienced depression for the first time. As I got into my business, I worked on my mindset, I worked on my body, I worked on my business, and I achieved quote unquote success. And when I did that, my part-time business exceeded my full-time job and I quit my job. Woo! And yet I fell into a week of depression. Seriously, it felt like I got a heartbreak. Like I was literally, I was in bed eating a tub of ice cream because I'm like, what's the purpose of all this? So it's very evident that spirituality is extremely important. In fact, if you take a look at most of the most successful people that you see in the world, at the top of their list on why they attribute their success, what they attribute their success to, they attribute some type of spirituality. Spirit is all knowing. In fact, we take a look at this. I got a cool tool I want to share with you guys. This is the best representation of how your life works if you want to achieve more success in your life. Okay. So this is what we call a sick person. Just got it. Shout out to Grateful Welds. I'm so excited about this little toy right here. Right. So we have a mind. We have a conscious mind. We have a subconscious mind. We have a body. The body is a smaller part to us. And what our mind believes, our body will do, and that will yield some type of result in your business. If you believe that you're going to succeed, you start to take successful actions, you will eventually achieve success in your business, for example. However, around this is what we call spirit. Spirit is all knowing. Spirit is omnipresent. Spirit is in all things at all times. Spirit is key. So if we're not connected to spirit, I'm glad that you like this. If we're not connected to our spirit, then we are literally disconnecting ourselves from the most important, the most powerful, the most epic thing in the world. And we're just like an electrical car. I see Pam here. She has a Tesla. It's like you're trying to drive a Tesla without plugging yourself into the outlet to recharge your battery. So it's important that you study your spirit. It's important that you find a way to be able to daily connect with that spiritual side of you. Okay. Now that might look different for you than others as well. For me, that looks like reading my Bible. For me, so literally the first thing I do every day is I spend time in my Bible. Okay. I spend time by myself. I meditate, I pray, I talk to God. And then the first thing that I do, and when I'm out facing to the world, I put him first in all things. I literally am doing a live Bible study. I literally don't talk to anybody until I do that. My first thing I do every day is I do a Bible study with other people. That's for me, right? For you might be meditation. For you might be some type of prayer. For you might be reading your scriptures. Like, what are those spiritual things that can help you to be able to get connected back with your spirit? Because I'm going to tell you, anything apart from the spirit in the Bible, it talks about Jesus says, I am the vine. Now, you might not believe in Jesus, but I'm just using it as an example, right? And he says, I am the vine. Apart from me, you can do no thing. So literally, if we are unplugged from the wall of your spirituality, you're unplugged from source, you're unplugged from energy, you're unplugged from God, we can do no thing. And what happens is this: you can work with your own will with your own self and do things with your own mind and your own might. You can do things with your hands and you can do things with your body. But every single time, what will happen is you will get drained, you will not feel fulfilled, and you're going to start to feel like, what's the purpose of all of this? If you've ever felt that way before, drained, put a me in the comments below, right? Like, I know what that feels like. So if you want to unlock your inner warrior, I realized the first place I needed to go to, I could work on my body all day. I could work on my mindset all day. I could work on my business all day. But if I did not do something to consistently, and I appreciate the transparency in the comments, if I did not do something consistently to keep myself charged with my spirit, everything else would falter. So if you're in a place right now in your life where you feel like your business is kind of all over the place, if you feel like your life is all over the place, if you feel anxiety, if you feel any of the negative emotions, fear, anxiety, doubt, any of those types of things, lack, that's probably a sign that you're spiritually deprived. I'd go back to the source. However, you deem the source for you, right? Like, what are the things that help you to connect back spiritually? And I will promise you this, if you put your spiritual growth on the number one forefront of your priorities every day, everything else will start to line up because that is your source of everything. So start to think about some things you can do daily. Start to think about some things you can do to get yourself realigned. Is it going back to a church? Is it speaking to a spiritual advisor? Is it doing something, just having an elongated time of spiritual, just quiet? You know, one of the biggest things that removes us from growing spiritually, you're spiritually deprived, no worries. That's why we're here right now. One of the biggest things that prevent us from growing spiritually is we are way too busy, right? The devil does not need to do some horrendous act in our life to be able to throw us off track. You know, the biggest tool that the enemy has against our spiritual growth? Distractions, busyness. We're running around all day. Does anyone else? Maybe this will describe your day. You wake up and you're like, oh crap. It's like, wow, okay, I got to go do stuff right now. You turn on your phone, you start catching through your notifications. You look at your calendar, like, oh, I got to get to work. You got your kids around, you got your grandkids around, like, oh, I got to go feed them. And then you start going and you're scrolling through the news and you're like, oh my gosh, there's so much things going in the world. And literally the entire day, right from when you wake up, you are reacting to the world and it's like everything is pulling at you. And by the end of the day, have you ever hit your head on the pillow and you're wondering, where did the time go? Where did the day go? And you feel drained and you feel unproductive and you feel like, wow, oh my gosh, I'm so busy. Have you ever felt like that before? And the reality is this: if you believe in a God, God can do way more in 1 second than we can do an entire lifetime. That is a telltale sign that we are disconnected from source. We are disconnected spiritually. We are disconnected from God. Right? So what happens is this: the enemy, good and evil, however you describe it, right? Negativity distracts you. And it's usually not even bad things. Right? I'm not talking about I'm sure if you're on here, you're not like somebody you're not someone that's murdering people. You're not someone that's doing outright negative things to like scam people all day, right? Like I think we're decently moral, ethical people that are on here. Okay. It's not the negative things, but we get drowned out in the good things. You get drowned out in your work. You get drowned out and distracted by your kids, by your life. You get distracted by catching up with everything. And because we're so distracted, we're so drowned out with all these voices all the time, we forget to hear the most important voice of them all, which is God or spirit or source or energy, however you describe this to be. So if we just take a little moment, it's super practical. And if you just simply put a quiet time back in your life, I'm telling you, recharge yourself. It's so important, right? So I had to learn how to get up a little bit earlier. I had to learn how to sleep a little bit earlier. Because when I started to realize the importance of recharging my spirit every day, and I realized, see, this is what happens back to this chart. You see, our mind is able to hear the things and to organize the things that we get in our spirit. It then directs us on things to do in the body to take actions to get a result. So if we're not getting fed by source, by energy, by spirits, by however you believe this to be, all this is nothing. So how important is that? Every day we go back to our spirit. So can you carve out some time daily? Could be 10 minutes, could be 15 minutes, could be 30 minutes, could be an hour. I mean, honestly, the more that you can spend recharging yourself spiritually, the more that can happen. Here's the big lie. I'm too busy to work on my spirit. You're too busy not to work on your spirit. There's so much more that God can do in just a little bit of your time than all of our time. So today I got up at 5 a.m. in the morning. I spent the first hour by myself and with God. I just meditated and prayed and I read. And I'm so charged. I'm so wired, right? And I'm just like, life is good. So much more gets done if you put your spiritual health first. So I just want to share this as a reminder today that as you're unlocking your inner warrior so you can show up more powerfully in your business, in your communities, in your families, in your relationships. Yes, building our bodies are important, as we talked about in previous conversations. Yes, building your mind is extremely important. But the most important, I'd submit to you, is building your spirit. Because that's the connection piece to everything that there is. Okay. So I hope that encourages you. If it did, like this, share this. Also subscribe to my YouTube. Put this plus all of our others as well too there as well too. Commit to this time and you're going to unlock your inner warrior. So you're going to show up more powerfully in the places you need to show up. Tomorrow, we're going to end up this series of how to unlock your inner warrior. We're going to talk about your business now. Why is it important? What do we do there as well too? Okay. But if this encouraged you as well too, and if you like this type of stuff, if you're interested, I run an organization called the Warrior Movement. I show people how to build an online enterprise and to unlock your inner warrior, because that's the secret to your business success. If you like this type of stuff, fill out the form on my bio. It's called the Work With Me form. And I'd love to connect with you, share with you what it is we got going on. But other than that, we'll talk to you on the next conversations. Warrior out.